My name is Enzo Amore, WWE NXT superstar. Now listen to Morgan Richards on Radio Cardiff, or consider yourself SAWFT Shift.
Hey, I'm Morgan Richards from Radio Cardiff, 98.7 FM. I recently caught up with WWE and NXT wrestling superstar Enzo Amore of the success of NXT's first takeover tour here in the United Kingdom at a press event. This is what he had to say.
It came about because I'm one of the luckiest human beings that you'll ever meet. I should probably play the lottery because I'd probably win it. I've been getting lucky throughout my life. I went to college. I played football. The only reason why I got into college is because I played football. I was not the most studious of students in our what we call high school, but because of my I guess my athletic ability at that level, I was able to go to college and get an education, and I had a great time in doing that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Hooters franchise, the restaurants. When I graduated high school, when I graduated college, which I don't know how I did that, but I did it. I walked into a Hooters to go eat a week out of college, and I was just grabbing a beer, and I said to the manager, "Hey, you guys hiring?" He said, "Yeah, actually we are." I said, "Can I get an application?" He said, "Yeah." And a week later, I was in the kitchen at Hooters with a managerial shirt on, running a business in a kitchen that I've never been a part of in my life. As never worked in restaurants before, never managed anything. But here are dozens and dozens of Hooters waitresses who are asking for my permission when they want to go outside and have a cigarette. So it's like, okay, me, I guess I'll be in charge around here. You know what I mean? It was wild. Sometime through managing that Hooters, I kind of looked around and I said to myself, this is not the life that I want to live forever. And I do believe it was on a Monday. I was watching Raw. I would put Raw on the TVs. I was a big fan. And I always had been a fan my entire life. And my father, who's a DJ, would always take me to see the WWE in Madison Square Garden growing up, and I got lucky enough and was reluctant enough to see some of the greatest in-ring performances in the history of the WWE, as it being born and bred in the New York City area where I'm from. Some of the most historic events that have ever been held in the WWE have taken place right in my backyard. So I grew up on it and I loved it and I wanted to do it, but because I ended up getting the opportunity to go to college, my father at 18 said, "You're not going to be a wrestler yet. You're going to go play college football and get an education." I did that. I walked into a Hooters to have a beer. I promise you, I was the next stop was going to be a wrestling ring, but they ended offering me a job, so I took it. So I did that for a little while, and then I realized that I needed to pursue my dream. This was not for me. So I called my father up. I said, "I'm going to quit my job." And he said, "Just do me a favor and don't ask me for a dime." And I said, "0 dimes. I'm not going to ask you for anything." And I think that genuinely has been the difference between myself and people who haven't had success in my business, is because I say, "Bada boom, realest guy in a room" when I get in the ring. And to me, that was real. I meant it. The first time I ever stepped on screen, that's what I said. Because I think that real is something you can feel. And it translates when you see it on screen. And God bless the fans who, took me in and made me this character that has been on our television show through the past few years and been a part of this brand that has blown up. Because really, if it wasn't for the fans, I would be on a piano moving truck still. You know what I'm saying? So I made a YouTube video of chronicling all the things that I was doing at that time. I was boxing, I was lifting weights at a gym, I was running, I was training, and in my eyes, never having been in a wrestling ring before, this was the best way for me to get into the WWE. But the best way for me to get into the WWE at 5'10" and 195 pounds was probably speaking on this microphone that I have tattooed on my hand, right? So I made these things of me, lift and run and all this stuff. I mean, we have some of the most crazy athletic physical specimens that exist in the world. I'm fighting an uphill battle, so I better be able to do it with my mouth, right? So I spoke at the end of it, and Jersey Shore was extremely popular at the time, and at the end of my video of me running, lifting, doing all this stuff, I spoke on the Hudson River, looking at New York City from New Jersey, where I'm from. And in this video, I made fun of the New Jersey Shore. I spoke briefly about the WWE, and it just so happens that, as I said, luck was put in place. My strength coach, who I trained with when I was playing college football, Joe DeFranco, was now training Triple H. And Triple H being Paul Levesque, the CEO or COO, if you will, of the WWE. And he played the YouTube clip for Paul. Paul said, "I'm not going to do this kid any favors, but, that was kind of impressive. I'll give him a tryout." So he got me a tryout at the former WWE Developmental System Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW, in October of 2011. In October of 2011, they flew me down to Tampa, put me up in a hotel. I had a tryout. I got in the ring, locked up for the first time, put on a headlock with Norman Smiley teaching me all of the ropes within a matter of 3 days. In those 3 days, I ended up having a practice match against former NXT talent CJ Parker. And after that, I don't think I would have gotten signed, but what ended up happening was they gave me a microphone, and they let me cut a promo in front of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty Rhodes put his stamp on me, said, "I think we should give this kid a shot." Called it in to the executives up at Connecticut, hired me, went through the hiring process, and ended up starting in FCW of July of 2012. Never having wrestled before in my entire life, I came in with the likes of Mojo Rawley, Baron Corbin, Charlotte, soon after Sylvester LaFour, and Emma. And out of that group of people, I've seen so many people come and go and try to do what we do. And it is not for everyone. It's not easy. And when you're 5'10", 195-pound guy, coming in with Mojo Rawley from the NFL, Baron Corbin, who played in the NFL, Charlotte Flair, who's Ric Flair's daughter, you're really fighting an uphill battle. So I had my word cut out for me, I would say, for the first year I was here, and opportunity presented itself over and over again through luck. And I do mean luck. Sometimes it's about the right people seeing you and seeing something in you. And that happened to me throughout my entire career, whether it would be, the first time Triple H saw me on YouTube, gave me my tryout. My tryout, Dusty Rhodes was there that day. He liked what he saw. I got in the door. When I debuted on television, it was Dusty Rhodes who vouched for me. I had 4 matches under my belt, all against Big E Langston, who was our NXT champion at the time. And they didn't go my way. Those matches ended rather quickly. And I got done with those 4 matches. And I remember sitting at TV one night. I was out with a couple of my buddies the night before, let's just say, not expecting to be on TV the very next day. Had my feet up. I think I was eating a donut. I was sitting at the locker room. I saw Dusty Rhodes walk in, put my feet down, put the donut to the side. I'm not going to be on TV. I've only been wrestling for 8-9 months. You know what I mean? I've had 4 matches. And Dusty walked in and said, "Hey, you got your ring gear?" "Yeah." "Meet me by the ring." "What?" Went out to the ring, had a match against Mason Ryan from Wales. I don't know if you guys are... Yes, Mason, I love him to death, and I owe that man a lot. He's in my first match with me, and he dealt with a young Enzo Amore who, didn't know his doesn't know his butt from his elbow. So he helped me out. We got in the ring, had a match that lasted all of a minute and a half. Once again, didn't go my way, as most of them didn't in the early stages of my career. But it just so happened that day, John Cena was sitting backstage. John Cena saw me in the ring, and he heard me in my promo when I said, "Bada boom, realest guy in the room." John Cena saw it. He stood up, repeated my words, "Bada boom, realest guy in the room." He never met me before, never saw me before. He inquired about me, and a couple of my buddies who were backstage that day that I debuted saw me come onto the screen, and everybody in the back, stood up and clapped for me. They were happy for me, and that is really the tale of what I do. Because my peers stood up and clapped, it averted John Cena's attention of whatever he was doing, and he looked at the screen. And because he looked at the screen and he saw me, and he just happened to like what I did that day, I was presented another opportunity to get in the ring with John Cena after the match. When the TV went off air, me and my tag team partner, who had yet to debut on TV and never was seen on NXT yet, Colin Cassidy, Big Cass, did an in-ring promo segment with John Cena in the dark segment of television against Damien Sandow, where it was Damien Sandow and John Cena in the ring. John Cena asked for us to come to the ring, not knowing anything about us, just liked what he saw, gave us a chance. We went out there and we entertained that crowd that day. And the Orlando Full Sail crowd heard soft for the first time in that dark promo segment, where I said something along the lines to Damien Sandow of your SAWFT, soft? And John Cena looked at me and was like, "What'd you say?" I was like, "Soft?" Say that again. "Soft?" And all of a sudden he said, "Soft? Damien Sandow, you're soft?" And all of a sudden the crowd just started repeating it. So the next time you see me on TV, I said, "Your SAWFT soft?" And the whole crowd went, "Soft?" This is the second time I've ever been on TV. How the hell do these fans know what this soft thing is? You know what I mean? But that's because this never aired on television before. And the footage has never been seen as far as I know. But that was my introduction to the NXT crowd, who has been so kind to me to repeat that soft word to the point where now I'm in England and I spell it out and I hold the microphone in the air and the people say it along with me. This is all like luck, just getting lucky over and over again and being handed opportunities. One opportunity that I've been handed that I owe my career to at this point is the opportunity to hold a microphone on the way to the ring. A lot of guys in my business don't get that opportunity, but I'm able to let you know who I am every time I go to the ring. You know what I mean? And that's a blessing, and that has put me in this position that I'm in right now, where I get to walk out in front of thousands of people in England, first every night. The first thing they hear is my name. Is so ridiculous to me, but it's overwhelming and it's humbling. But so is my career thus far. It has been a blessing, and none of it has come easy. It's never been a cakewalk, but everything that happens for a reason. And I'm just riding this wave, man. I think that the most important thing as a human and as a person and as Enzo Amore is just to take in each day. I live the day-to-day life. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. And I get asked the question a lot nowadays is, when are you going to be on Raw? When are you going to be on SmackDown? It's like, well, to be honest with you, I don't know, and I don't care, because I'm having the time of my life right now. And NXT, the crowds that we're working in front of, I'm a part of the first evers all the time. All the time at NXT, I've been a part of the first ever this, the first ever that. I don't want to stop being a part of the first evers. When we start getting around to this is the second time or the third time or the fourth time, I hope that the grass is still green and the fruit's still ripe, because I'm enjoying it as much as any human being possibly can right now. But the opportunity to come here for the first time ever. I was there the first time that we ever left Florida. I was there the first time we ever had TakeOver. You know what I mean? I was there the first time NXT ever launched on the WWE network. I was there the first time that we ever wrestled before WrestleMania in an arena in San Jose. I was there the first time we went to Pittsburgh, the first time we went to Albany, the first time we went to Philadelphia, the first time we go everywhere. I've been fortunate enough to be there. And I think that everyone at NXT feels the same way that I do about being a part of these first-time evers. The UK, and these are all just, I wouldn't say building blocks or stepping stones, because I think that we have built a platform, and everyone wants to be on it. And I think that there's something that so many people don't realize, is that down at NXT, we have 80 people, 90 people working in a performance center with 7 rings, state-of-the-art facility that the WWE built, who are all just dying and vying to get a spot on this television show, NXT. Okay? So while so many people are just so ready to make the jump, and so many people are so ready to as fans, to say, we're going to the big show, we want to be at WrestleMania. After all, everybody wants to be at WrestleMania, right? But first, NXT is the pathway there. And it has become more than a pathway. It has become a platform with a trampoline on it. So whenever you want to jump on that trampoline, and on to the next thing, we've made it possible. But I don't think so many people are so reluctant to just jump on that trampoline yet. I've been having the time of my life here at NXT, and I know that life goes on here. And some people would tell you that you can make a career for yourself here now, because this is a brand, and we're selling out venues across the United Kingdom and in the States. So I don't know that I'll ever leave NXT, but the dream and the ambition is to one day be in front of the 100,000, 110,000, whatever it'll be this year in Dallas at WrestleMania. So many times as a company, you don't want to stray far away from sports entertainment. But if you're an avid fan of pro wrestling, or if you're a pro wrestler, NXT is the second biggest promotion in the entire world. If you want to make a career just like anybody else does in whatever field that it is, whether you're a journalist and you start here and you want to get to there, one day I want to write for the Rolling Stones, you know what I mean? The WWE is the Rolling Stones, but if you're not there yet, maybe one day you'll get there. Sometimes people start, writing for gossip columns and at the bottom in their college, newspapers, just like I did. NXT is practically, the USA Today. You know what I'm saying? We are our own, we are our own brand. And if you could wrestle here, you're wrestling for the WWE and for the second biggest promotion in the world. So, I mean, I don't know that I'm in such a rush to get up to the WWE main roster, as they call it. We have some of the best tag team wrestling going on in the world right now down at NXT as well. If anybody's been paying attention, we have a lot of new faces, and you guys as fans in the UK have made it more than clear that some of these new faces, are ready. And I think if you picked out of a hat, any team in the NXT tag team division right now could go up there and be as good, if not better, than any team in the WWE main roster. You got Jordan Gable, you got the Blake and Murphy Alexa factor, you got me and Big Cass, Dash and Dawson, the Vaudevillains. Out of those 5 teams, Mojo and Zack Ryder, one of which is on the main roster. Out of those 6 teams there, 5-6 teams, I mean, some of the best tag team wrestling ever, personally, I think, is going on. As students of the game, we all go back and we watch more film at the WWE Performance Center, and we are more hypocritical than anybody in the history of this business. And what we're doing has never been done before, is we're getting in the ring every single day, perfecting our craft, unlike anybody in the history of this business, and then we're watching it on film. And we're our own biggest critics. So we're perfecting a business that is hundreds of years old. I think the product that you'll see in 5 years in the WWE will be as better, or if not as good, as it's ever been, because we watch film of ourselves, but we not only watch film of ourselves, we watch film of the Buddy Rogers and the Dusty Rhodes and the Ric Flairs, and the Iron Sheik and, the Ultimate Warrior and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the Attitude Era and Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Terry Taylor, who was our coach, my coach, Norman Smiley, Matt Bloom, names across the board. We watch it all, and we see how it affects what we do today, whether it be good or whether it be bad, and we pick and choose what we do, and we take from, and in the art of our business, some of it is stealing. And you say, oh, I like what he did there. I like what he said there. How can I make that my own? Because what's old is new, and what's new is old. So you just filter through time, just like in anything else, like in pop culture. Trends keep coming back. And I think that NXT is a result of a boom in sports entertainment all over again. And I think NXT and the group of guys that you're seeing right now will be the ones that capitalize on it the most in the next 2 to 3 years. I think we'll get back to a point where this business is as good as it's ever been, and Lord knows that Hunter, Triple H, Paul Levesque is responsible for talent development and investing in the talent. When he was asked by Vince, what's the thing that we need to work on the most, he said, well, we got to have talent. Ultimate investment is in talent, because talent's what makes the WWE world go round, right? So what did he do? He built a state-of-the-art facility, a performance center with 7 rings, and filled it with people, and said, out of all you people, there's going to be a star, and stars are what makes this business, and we have plenty of them at NXT.
And Enzo, you've mentioned really getting into the start of your career, but in NXT, you and your longtime tag team partner, Colin Cassidy, actually met playing basketball together in New York in your early teens, nearly 10 years before being reunited in the squared circle. Is it quite funny how this has really all turned out for you and come full circle?
Yeah, man, it's ironic, it's crazy, and as you know, New York City isn't small. You'll be reluctant to see the same person twice in a lifetime if you spend your entire lifetime in New York City. So the fact that I had my run-ins with Big Cass on the basketball court before I got to the WWE, and the fact that he remembered me is crazy. And at the time, he was not nearly as big as he is now. I mean, Big Cass claims that he hit his growth spurt in one summer. So, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but he says he was going into his junior year in high school, and he went into his sophomore year of high school at like 5'10", and he got into his junior year and he was like 6'6". So, by the time he graduated high school, he was almost the height that he is now. I saw him and he was unrecognizable. He remembered me though, almost. But one thing that is, I put out this promo before I got signed to the WWE, because when I was in high school, I played against now New York Giant and Super Bowl champion Victor Cruz, a wide receiver for the New York Giants. I played against him in high school, and I had a tape of me in high school, like picking him up and slamming him in high school football, and I put it on the internet just as like a joke with me and my boys, like just me talking crap and being like, oh yeah, Victor Cruz, you're in the Super Bowl now, look at this, bam, slammed you on your head, buddy, and this video went viral and went on this website called Barstool Sports. Big Cass, who was then in the WWE, saw the video on Barstool Sports, was like, I know that guy. And then a few months later, I have a tryout in the WWE. And he's like, wait a second. I know, you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's crazy. And sure enough, here we are. Me and Big Cass happened organically. It wasn't so much put together. And I think that speaks volumes to the chemistry that comes through a screen with two people that aren't acting, that aren't faking, they're just being real. And that goes for entertainment across the board, whether it be Sonny and Cher, You know, you look down the line. I mean, you see people that are, you know, just organically mesh well. You know, me and Big Cass were just, when I came in to WWE FCW developmental territory, I'm loud by nature. Okay, and by that I mean I'm just myself. I'm outspoken. I wear loud clothes, I guess, to the general. See, where I'm from, people are loud, and where I'm from, people are fashionable and wear things that maybe people wouldn't wear in the South, where I'm from. Okay, you bring me to FCW, and I got people from all over the world who work at FCW, and Big Cass got me right away. You know, a guy from New York City. I'm from North Jersey. He looked at me and you know, he said, "This guy's money." You know what I mean? And other people were looking at me like, "This guy's a jerk, and he shouldn't be here." And I had a lot of heat when I first got there, and a lot of people didn't like me, but not for any reason. To be honest, it was just because they didn't like me. You know what I'm saying? Not that I did something to them, but I think I won them over eventually through you know, just sticking it out in a business where a lot of people quit, you know, and a lot of people don't make it. You know, hard work and that ring that'll be set up tonight in Cardiff. I assure you, everybody who made it to Cardiff, who was in NXT, take any 2 or 3 of us at a time and we could set that ring up ourselves. You know, so we all know how to set up the ring, and that was kind of how you learn the ropes, is learn how to set up the ropes. And I did that for a full year down there. I worked hard at setting up the ring and things like that. And Big Cass eventually won me over with some more people because he was the more veteran of the two of us. He had his set of buddies and he had his group of friends, and you know, he was living with Dean Ambrose at the time and good friends with Seth Rollins. So he kind of got me in that circle, and wealth is knowledge in this business, and I got to pick these people's brains, and that's important in trying to establish yourself and learn in this business. And Big Cass was able to big brother me a little bit into this business and bring me around these people. And basically these people saw how me and Big Cass interacted with one another, because Big Cass, a New Yorker, never had somebody from around his neck of the woods before who could just combat with him verbally about things in everyday life that we experience. It's like a Seinfeld episode, if you've ever watched Seinfeld. You know, just complaining about the coffee, or just complaining about this, or just, oh, that pizza was, you know, garbage. You know what I mean? And people just hearing us talk would laugh. And they'd be like, "You guys should be a tag team, man. You guys should be a tag team." Sure enough, we started doing promos together in promo class with Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty Rhodes loved it. And for whatever reason at the time, outside of promo class, me and Big Cass were never paired up. We never had matches together. We never did anything in the ring together. It just so happened that day with John Cena, Tyler Breeze was sitting next to John Cena at the backstage when I debuted on television, and Big Cass had not yet to debut on television. And John Cena said, "Who is this guy? What's his story?" And Tyler Breeze said, "These guys are hilarious." Him and Big Cass, Colin Cassidy, cut promos together back at FCW that are hilarious. And John Cena that day asked me and Big Cass to come out to it together. That was the first time we were ever seen by anybody's eyes together. And we've been together ever since. So we were actually made a tag team basically by John Cena. And then we were forced into NXT programming after that day, and given opportunities to do things on the microphone, and fortunately and reluctantly, you know, given more opportunities to get in the ring after that. So Big Cass and I kind of happened organically, and still do. People get a kick out of, you know, our camaraderie, so to say, because, you know, we pull no punches when we speak to each other. Whether we're joking around, whether we're getting along, or whether we're fussing with each other. You know, people get a kick out of it on the bus, going to and from events. I know that nobody appreciates it probably more than Sami Zayn and Finn Balor and Adrian Neville. Those are 3 guys that we've driven together in a lot of cars with, and they got to hear me and Big Cass go back and forth.